What life do you deserve? Among the many conflicts and teachings of Aggretsuko, this is the question which has weighed heaviest on my mind. I've watched the series a few times over the past couple of years, and always admired how expertly the writers have managed to balance the adorable aesthetic and witty comedy of anthropomorphic Sanrio characters alongside the crushing despair of modern working life, the feeling of emptiness seeing our efforts making so little impact. And yet the way Aggretsuko manages to both entertain adult audiences while also giving them hope through its many lessons is quite inspiring. I suppose I've had a soft spot for cartoons which look and feel as though they are meant for younger audiences and yet hold far more depth and maturity than anyone would realize at first glance. And whilst I've certainly praised its first 2 seasons, the latest episodes of Aggretsuko have hit me far more than I could have ever expected, almost from the very beginning. After a hilarious opening sequence about a VR boyfriend which had me bust a gut with laughter, Aggretsuko hits us with a very harsh view of her own potential. I'm no one special in the grand scheme of things. It's time that I live with my feet on the ground. I know I'm just okay. I can't get greedy. In the end, a boring life is all that I deserve. Now, we as the audience know very well that Aggretsuko has both talent and potential, but at this point in the story, she's unable to see it within herself. Having been beaten down by life in so many ways, even to the point of seeking out a virtual boyfriend fantasy as just something to fill the gaping hole in her heart. Willing to put aside any dreams she had and seek fulfillment in just being content with what she's already achieved. It takes an unfortunate set of circumstances, putting her in a dire situation she feels she has no choice but to pursue, that starts her on the road to recovery. But again, Aggretsuko feels that she isn't worth much. Now working with a producer and some as of yet widely unknown idol singers, they're able to easily pick up on Aggretsuko's more passive nature. Building upon the premise established in the first episode, I'm no one special in the grand scheme of things, none of them even refer to Aggretsuko by name, instead using terms like numbers girl. But when Aggretsuko seeks advice from Washimi, we're given the first of many excellent lessons of Season 3. Of course you don't know what to do. You're not putting any thought into this. That's why this producer fellow looks down on you. The job is hard, you're not quitting, so what's next? You have to change your circumstances. Tell me the truth. Have you given it your all? Seeing Aggretsuko feel as though she's trapped with no way out struck a deep chord with me, as I'm sure it did for many of you out there as well. No clear way to get ahead in life, knowing that quitting will make your circumstances even worse. It becomes so easy to give in to despair and apathy. Like Aggretsuko, we may just accept our lot in life, hoping that some outside force may come along to improve our situation. But I really have to give credit to the writing here, as both Aggretsuko and the audience is given a very worthwhile solution. You shouldn't rely solely on some person or opportunity to come along and fix your circumstances. You want your life to change? Think it out. It will be difficult to find some new perspective or angle you haven't noticed before. It will take more time and effort than you might be willing to give at first. But honestly ask yourself, are you giving it your all? I have to admire Aggretsuko's response here. I'll try my best. I mean, do my best. She devotes herself to raising money in any way possible. She proves herself valuable to both the producer and the idol group. And by putting aside even just a bit of her more passive nature, she begins to find success. With another piece of excellent writing, it is only after this point that she is no longer simply called Numbers Girl. From here on, she is Retsuko again. She's taken her first step out of the mindset of, I'm no one special in the grand scheme of things. And this would have been a fairly satisfying conclusion to another chapter in Retsuko's story. But the writers keep taking things one step further. In the early episodes, it's established that both Anai and Gori have started side projects harnessing their hobbies into additional income. In fact, I think it's rather brilliant how Gori's dating app was actually built up into a significant plot point in the final episode. But with these early elements hinting at things to come, we're given the next step of how Retsuko can see herself as worthwhile. From the beginning of the series, a big part of what made a character like Retsuko stand out was how she vented her daily frustrations into death metal karaoke. Something she'd only do in privacy, maybe in front of her closest friends. The very idea of showing this side of herself in front of a crowd is quite terrifying to her. Once again, though, she's being encouraged by others to step up, take more control over her circumstances, which is followed by another piece of excellent writing. The character of Manaka is really meant to be unlikable at first. Haughty, shallow, and quite full of herself. But much like the Aggretsuko series as a whole, I've really admired how so many characters are given so much more depth to both their personalities and motivations with every passing episode. And sometimes the more direct method is just what we need to find courage. You're one of those girls, huh? You've got an excuse for everything you do. Meanwhile, you're not woman enough to stand up for your own dreams. I know which one of us I'd rather be. Harsh words, certainly. But it all goes back to Retsuko's similarly harsh words at the beginning of the season. In the end, a boring life is all that I deserve. Aggretsuko as a series has always been very good at challenging the audience's notions about their circumstances. What is worth pursuing? And here in Season 3, what life do you deserve? The writers are very careful about not skipping over just how much of a risk Retsuko is making with each of her decisions. Even when others show complete confidence in her talents, in the end, she always has a choice. And given her more passive nature in front of others throughout the series, the very idea of putting her death metal voice in front of an audience, not knowing how they will judge what she holds most dear, it's a scary concept, and one which hit me in a very personal way. For much of my life, I've had family and friends tell me that I should do something with my voice, that I could entertain or even uplift an audience with how I speak. For the longest time, I simply couldn't overcome that fear of performing. By getting on a stage or on the radio or on TV, I'd be compared with countless others who came before me and judged as not good enough to merit attention. No amount of encouragement or opportunities that came my way would make a difference, unless I was willing to accept even just the possibility that maybe I could do more. Maybe I could be more. Like so many of you out there, I've been where Retsuko was. I'm no one special. I'm just okay. I should be happy with what I've been given already. This is what I deserve. But several years ago, I began to wonder, am I willing to change my circumstances? Have I really given it my all? Will I end up coasting through life on excuses? Or did I stand up for my dreams? If I'm being honest, I will always be grateful for deciding to take that risk. Putting my voice out on YouTube despite all my hesitations, and ever since, with many hundreds of reviews, dramatic readings, comic dubs, parody series, I've discovered just how much more capable I really am. To this day, I'm still learning how much more I can do with my talents. But it all came about because I was genuinely willing to seek out an answer. What life do I deserve? Thank you all for listening here today. There is so much more I could talk about with Aggretsuko Season 3, especially in regards to being in the limelight, whether it is working towards a dream or living in a fantasy. But I really felt the need to get at least some of my thoughts out there whilst they were still fresh in my mind. At the very least, I hope I've managed to convince a few of you out there to give this series a watch if you haven't already. And for any of you who have seen the latest episodes, I hope you'll share some of your experiences in the comments below. Because as always, I am Dr. Wolf, and I look forward to hearing from you.